Nigeria's hard facts.
10 minutes gone past the 5 o'clock hour, welcoming you officially to the Big Hard Facts. This is the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station. We're broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios right here in Itimi and Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. My name is Maryann Okon. I did tell you that we're going to have a very well-rounded conversation about JAMB. Yes, the UTME saga that made news all through last week into this week. Let me give you some background in case you are just dropping into Nigeria. We're looking at the recent developments surrounding the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, conducted by the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAMB. Now, this year's examination has been marred by significant challenges, including technical glitches, biometric verification failures, and a notable decline in candidate performance. Notably, over 379,000 candidates were affected due to the system errors in about 157 centers, primarily in Lagos and the Southeast regions. In response to the issues, the Southeast Caucus in the House of Representatives have called for the cancellation and rescheduling of the 2025 UTME, citing compromised integrity and fairness in the examination process. Today, we're being joined by Professor Gabriel Moti. He is an esteemed expert in educational policy. I'd like to give you some background on who the professor is before I introduce him. Professor Gabriel Moti is a professor of public sector management and governance and an international leadership expert, speaker, and a trainer. He is a Maxwell Leadership Certified team member, licensed to provide facilitation, speaking, coaching, and training on approved Maxwell leadership and professional development. He's an experienced administrator. He's a certified management consultant, a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants, and the president of the Management Consultant IMC Nigeria. He's a CMC Global Accredited Trainer on ISO 20700-2017, and also licensed to deliver ISO training on behalf of the International Council of Management Consultant Institutes. Thank you so much, Professor Moti, for joining us. I know that you've been waiting a long time. You keep to time. I love it. Thank you for joining us on Hard Fact.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Nigerians, for listening in.
Lovely. Let's go straight to it and look at the issues on the exam process and, technology. Let's start with that. Can you help us understand why this situation is rearing its ugly head? Because I'm guessing that maybe these things have been happening. It just didn't get the kind of attention it's getting today. But how does this CBT exam work, if you have any idea? And do you think that JAMB before now must have had safeguards in place to prevent this? Because you can't be having computer examinations without having safeguards in place, right?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. JAMB has been conducting this CBT exam for some time now. There has been glitches, no doubt about that, but not of the type of magnitude that we have had this year. The CBT is a computer-based test, which means that the students just need to come in, the questions are on the computer, they attend to them, and that happens. But before you do that, you also need to give them some little bit of training, which JAMB does. And you have service providers who will ensure that the internet is working, connectivity is good, because everything is completely online. And it takes away quite a number of human involvement, in the sense that you don't have paper and all that. So it reduces a lot of work for JAMB, makes it faster for them to complete and be able to bring out the results. But look, this is technology. And sometimes it can fail you badly too.
Well, there have been many complaints, if you ask me, about biometric verification failures in recent times. How significant do you think this issue is, and what could be causing it? Because again, we can't be dealing with these biometric issues when it comes to our elections and then still be dealing with it when it comes to something as simple as CBT examinations where you just click and you're done. Do you think that this could have been prevented, being that these glitches have happened over time? We're in 2025.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that we are still battling with very little technical issues, because biometrics is the basic. That is the thing that you will do to be able to be recognized, to access that system for you to write your exam. And so if a candidate is unable, if the system is unable to verify the candidate through his or her biometrics, that's the beginning of the crisis. You can't be able to do that exam without your biometrics being captured, because it is what eventually will connect for you to get a result. Because everything happens when you finish. Everything goes to JAMB and admission, which is done centrally. JAMB does it through the central admission processing system, which again needs us to get into the fact that you have been captured properly to be able to do that.
Let's talk about the fact that because of what has happened, a lot of people feel like they have been targeted. Lots of people feel like they have been, let me use the word loosely, disenfranchised. I know this is not an election, but they feel left out. And that's why the House of Rep caucus is asking, not just for a total cancellation of the examination in their zone, they're also asking that Professor Ishaq Oloyede steps down because the buck stops at his table. Now, there's been a huge argument as to why he should not step down, because many are saying he's done a good job, he's sanitized the system, but has he really done a good job?
Yeah, Oloyede has been in that position for quite a while now. So one expects that he has a good knowledge of the system, good memory of the system, what happens, what shouldn't happen. Yeah, something he has done year after year, brought the results. Now, but let's look at it this way. I am not too sure if what has happened was deliberate. But the coincidence, I think, is what has outraged the Southeast caucus of the National Assembly. For those of us who are in the university system, we have seen scores. I've participated in student admission at the departmental level and even the central examination admission level. And whether you like it or not, we get high scores coming from states from the Southeast. And so if something happens and those young people from the Southeast are not able to get their exams done, or did the exam and something happened, they had bad scores, and other parts of the country did it very well, somebody may think it is not a coincidence. Somebody may think it could be deliberate to maybe block out those intelligent young men and women that come from that area. Let me not shy away from this. I want to repeat, we get very high scores from the Southeast state. Yes, we don't know how they do it, but the scores are high. And since it's CBT, we feel that it is what they deserve. So if suddenly something like that happens, I think that is where people are agitated. And they're saying that something perhaps was done, maybe a human error that was targeted that part of the country. All these are conjectures, but they are just happenstance or coincidences that are too strong for people to look at it otherwise. I think for me, I think that is what is happening.
As a professor, just as the JAMB head, how do you think, if you were in Professor Oloyede's shoes, how would you have handled the backlash that you're getting? Because many Nigerians are also querying that video of the cry. They're saying, okay, so because he cried, so we should move on. And then, of course, many are also questioning why the immediacy in the resit, not minding the mental health of these youngsters, not minding their level of preparedness, absolutely just throwing them off. Many have queried how JAMB has handled this without taking into consideration so many things. If you were in Oloyede's shoes, how would you have handled this situation?
You see, people are born with different emotions, and emotional intelligence is quite different from one individual to the other. Oloide displayed his own emotional um, breakdown on that day, perhaps genuinely, perhaps maybe for a show. I wouldn't say that, but I just feel that he was genuine about it. But for me, I think when something like that happens, I would have taken my time to try to find out what caused these problems.
Mm-hmm.
What was really the thing behind what happened, and why was it in a particular zone, including Lagos and around that area? I
Hmm.
think that would have been the first thing to do, because you can still do this because we have time for the students to still get their results. This is CBT. The results come early, so you could have ask them to step down, wait, you will look into it, bring out cogent reasons, at least interim for what must have happened, and then take steps to calm the students down, give them proper time to readjust, and reassure them that things are going to happen. Because we went for it immediately, and thereafter there was also problems. Some of them couldn't go for it, and we're trying to go for a second, third one. So I think there was a hurry just to try to correct a problem. If he had just stepped down a little bit, looked into what has happened, and get all the issues that must have cropped up done. But I think because of the backlashes that came, maybe he was in a hurry to try and save his neck and save the neck of JAMB. And so he hurriedly went back just 72 hours or thereabout to retake that exam. And we had another problem.
Hmm.
It means we are going to go for a third one, maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, we'll come back to the management of JAM. Let's talk about these youngsters. The generation Z that we have now is totally different from us millennials, totally different from the baby bloomers like you, sir. And things have really changed for them. The way they reason is totally different from how other generations have reasoned. We saw a young lady who killed herself because she had a poor score. That is yet to be addressed, and we jumped into another examination. Let's talk about the mental health of youngsters. As I was just talking a few minutes ago about how I feel about my alma mater, my university, and I feel some sort of trauma from going to school there. Do we take into consideration today, as a teacher, as an educator, the mindset of these youngsters, emotional, mental, and otherwise? Also taking into consideration the cost of living crisis, how the home is, if how their parents have to struggle to put the monies together for them to be able to take these exams, if they are the first actually to go for exams or to even go to attempt to go to universities in their home. Do educators take into consideration all of these things while you're trying to impact some sort of knowledge into these kids?
Yeah, thank you. You see, the young people we're dealing with today are different from us. Incidentally, you are talking to me. I was the first set of those who took JAM, 1978. Yes, we were the
Wow.
first set of JAM. Yeah. So we went to the university 1978, 1979. It was through JAM. That was the first JAM. That was when we were shading with these HB
Pencils,
pencils.
yes.
Yes. And then JAM will go back and tick and bring the results. No, it's quite a different thing. So the emotions, the rigor of doing that was quite different. Today you have individuals, young men and women who, especially those of them who come from the rural areas, they have to go to be learning how to work on the computer. There is this anxiety: am I going to pass? Because they have seen people who have taken JAM two, three, four, five times without being able to get the required scores to enter the university. Some even got the scores, but because of spaces they have not. So there is a lot of tension in them. And then because of what is happening around, everybody wants to be in school.
Hmm.
And this is the only route to go into the university or higher education. The only pathway Nigeria has created. You can't go through any of these tertiary institutions in Nigeria without going through JAMB. That is another distress for them. So they have no alternative but this. So they prepare all their minds that this anxiety from them, from parents, from colleagues, and even within among themselves. They are thinking, my classmate or my area mate has passed, I haven't passed, or it's in the university, I'm not there. I'll give you an example. Three young people are.
You are listening to your number.
I'm sorry, Professor. We have to go on a quick break. We'll be right back.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Mommy, you want to watch YouTube?
Not my phone again. Every time YouTube.
Oh, mommy, you want to watch YouTube?
Not with my phone. Go and watch TV.
What? There's no YouTube on our TV.
That's before. With the new Airtel Smart Router, for just 25,000 naira, you can watch YouTube and more on any TV, even our own TV.
Really? Yay! Thank you, Mommy.
Oh, you're welcome.
Turn any TV into a smart TV with the Airtel Smart Router and watch Nollywood movies, football, and lots more on YouTube with unlimited data for 30 days. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Hey ladies, do you know Nigerian women are celebrated for their radiant glowing skin? That's right. But with a hot sun, protecting our skin can be a challenge. Good news! Perfectil by Vitabiotics UK gives you targeted support for great looking skin, hair and nails. Packed with biomarine collagen, botanical extracts, and other micronutrients which contribute to skin hydration and radiance while reducing other skin imperfections. Available in pharmacies near you. Perfectil, beauty from within.
This taste na banger, this taste na creamy rich, this taste na new Nescafe, original 3-in-1. Thickness, enjoyment, yumminess, happiness, delightfulness, deliciousness, smoothness. This taste na new Nescafe, original 3-in-1. Enjoy more creamy richness with the new Nescafe original 3-in-1 in the new pack. That's strong, finish strong.
Meals have a way of taking us on a journey, and when you add plenty of vegetables like efo, ugu, and season with the rich taste of North seasoning cubes, even better.
So, go ahead and elevate your meals with more vegetables and the rich taste of Knorr cubes. Today, eat for good.
Update!
Extra value don't land though. We don't raise them now. We don't raise them. Your 50cl Coca-Cola don't turn to 60cl. Yes now. Now 20% more refreshment, plenty enjoyment with the same Ogbonge Coca-Cola taste. Not carry last though. Sharply go grab your new 60cl Coca-Cola today. Make you enjoy better refreshment. This now extra value with the same Ogbonge taste. Coca-Cola, real wonder. Even Fanta and Sprite self follow for this one oh. Is that Alfie playing football in the rain?
It's Toby Chio.
My goodness.
When did he grow up? That's it with kids, though.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development with the new NanKid 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. NanKid 4. Nourish your child's potential.
No be party jollof this same.
Abeg, make nothing hungry you again today.
Now you're pregnant wife with a follow talk so.
Neighbor,
abeg neighbor, just one spoon.
No wahala.
Chef, what be your secret?
Now, Mr. Chef Seasoning Powder. Mr. Chef Seasoning Powder. Get spicy stew, goat meat, fried rice, and roasted beef from great aroma to great taste.
Elevate every meal with Mr. Chef Seasoning Powder. Chef.
Oh, what did happen now? No bonus for all my line. No panic, as MTN don't carry better gist come. Every 6 minutes you talk, MTN go dash you 3 extra minutes. Fiam to enter MTN better gist. Dial *123 *2 *1# or text BG to 312. T and C's apply.
For 3 great seasons the fans have fought. With passion and fire, their best they brought. The banter was bold, the debates were tight. Each word a weapon, each match a fight. But now it's bigger, the stakes much higher. The battle returns, and it's full of fire. Fan Battle 4 with Femi and the gang on 99.3 Nigeria Info. The stage is bang. In partnership with Sports Salon, we raise the game with glory, honor, and a shot at fame. Think you've got what it takes to score? Then step right up. It's time for more.
Fan Battle 4 starts Tuesday, June 3rd through July from 7 p.m. weekdays on Nigeria Info.
Fan Battle 4. Let the battle begin.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Fact. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories. You know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is Hard Facts.
Yes, it is still Hard Facts. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We're live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. You can join the conversation on our website, www.nigeriainfo.fm. And if you're listening from outside of the country, you want to contribute to the conversation, we are on WhatsApp 0809597585. You can join the conversation also on X. Use the hashtag Hard Facts Nigeria Info FM. We would like to hear from you. We still are talking with Professor Gabriel Moti we're still looking at the situation with JAMB, of course. What could have been done better? And for those who are saying JAMB has to go, it's outlived its time. Should it stay or should it go? And if it must stay, what must be done for it to get with the times? My guest has been talking to us on this issue. Professor, before we went on that break, of course, we were talking about the taking into consideration the things, the environment, the emotions, and everything of the students, while we're trying to also give them an opportunity at education. Apologies that we had to go on that quick break.
Yeah, and I was about to give you an example of 3 young people who approached the university for education admission. And incidentally, they stay in the same environment, and they scored good marks. 2 of them were able to get it. One of them, the admission delayed. You know, sometimes it's not released at the same time. But what we got to hear was that the 3rd child that the admission delayed and had not yet come, when she knew that the 2 friends had already gotten admission, she thought that was the end of her life. In fact, she collapsed. The mother called me from the hospital, that she was calling from the hospital. The daughter is in the hospital. And what is the reason? That when she said the 2 of her colleagues got admission. So I'm just trying to tell you the emotions that these young people go through. So this is not something you joke with, because you are joking with their life. Once things like this happen, they think everything is gone completely. And that is the type of people we are dealing with. So that is why we need to take this issue very seriously and allow them some time to calm down, to heal, and reassure them that there is a way out of this mess we have got ourselves into.
I know that you don't work for JAMB, but I mean, was there any, with all that JAMB has done, did you see any form of assurances for these young persons? Did you see that any consideration of theirs was taken in by JAMB with the way they reacted and the way they've handled it so far? Professor Oloyede was quoted in the media 2 days ago, or yesterday, actually, reacting to the Senate, the House of Representative members who asked for a cancellation and he's stepping down. I don't necessarily know if his response was good enough for those who are really calling for his head.
Yeah, you see, in situations like this, you're bound to have people with divergent views about what should be done and what shouldn't be done. Definitely some will call for his head, just like they have called. Some will be silent, some will say no. But see, if we have an environment where people look at issues, take a record of what has happened, and that is what I was advocating. If there were issues that were really beyond the control of JAM and the chief executive, he has done a good job. He has been there for quite some time. Again, maybe that is the problem that comes when you stay too long in a position and you want an extension, you want to continue. Something happens, maybe it could embarrass you just like it has happened now. But in many environments, people don't wait when there is such a outrageous embarrassment coming. A lot of people don't wait to be asked to step down. Whatever it is, they take the responsibility like he has taken and go a step further to say, look, I have done my best. I have performed so well. This one has happened. Maybe this is the opportunity for me to step aside, give somebody another opportunity to come and do better. I think that was perhaps his own decision. But well, in our own environment, how did people do that? And it's unfortunate. Other environments, maybe somebody would have willingly, voluntarily said, look, I have done my best. I have offered my service. I have contributed to bringing up young people and developing the university system. Now, perhaps this is the moment. Let me give way for somebody else to take over. And then we wouldn't have been calling for his neck from political quarters at all.
Lovely. Let's talk again broadly, because one of the reasons why I brought you here is because of your pedigree as a professor. On a broader aspect, what does this controversy with JAM reveal about the deeper structural problems that we have in our educational and examination systems? What do you think it has exposed or thrown up as a result of what has happened between last week and this week? And what can we learn from those things? Is it the time for us to put an axe to JAM and say, you know what, let's find better ways of getting people into universities? Or what needs to be done about JAM going forward and Nigeria's education system in general? Quickly, before I let you answer, Professor, today the Minister of Education was quoted to say that a lot of people that the government sponsors on scholarships to go study abroad never come back to Nigeria. And my question is, what are their options if they must come back? Over to you, Professor.
Yeah, let me just, in answering that question, whether JAM should stay or not stay, I think we need to do a little bit of comparative analysis. In Africa, let's restrict ourselves to Africa. In Africa, Nigeria is the only high-profile country that has a single entrance examination or common admission examination test for their students. I'll just give you an example. South Africa, for instance, they don't have a single entrance examination. They have what they call the National Senior Certificate Matriculation Examination, an equivalent to our GCE here, or WAEC as we call it popularly here. And in South Africa, if you go around this time, they are talking about the almighty matric. That is the popular name they call it in that region. They call it matric. So any other thing is university specific. Once you pass this matric, you have the qualification to enter into a university. What is done is that they look at your scores, university solicit, and you apply to them, and you got into the university. Some may even give you some other tests like the National Benchmark Test, which tests your mathematics, academic literacy, and so on and so forth. The same way, Kenya, which is another high-profile African country, the primary pathway for Kenya is also through what they call the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, KCSE. So specific universities have degree programs, additional entrance requirements, and that's all. You just need to pass this. The same thing if you go to Egypt, another high-profile African country. They have what they call, I think, Tanaweya Amma. Tanaweya Amma is an Arabic word, which means a series of standardized tests that lead to the general secondary education certificate for schools, and it serves as the entrance examination into Egyptian public schools. And how do they now get in students? They have the Ministry for Higher Education. When these scores are out, the ministry now places all the minimum scores for every program, every course, and different universities. So the students look at their scores, look at the course they want to read, look at the university that is offering it. If they are within that range, then they pick that university. The university may now do one or two other tests and take them in. The same thing, Tanzania, which is another high profile country. It doesn't do it. Rwanda doesn't do it. We are the only one who, after students must have gone through GCE or WAEC, they are now taking a central examination test. And that alone is a little bit of trauma for the students, because they know that once I miss it, there is no other opportunity for me to get into higher institution. So we better start looking from this perspective. Do we need one body to give us a single entrance examination in addition to passing WAEC? And then you now collaborate with NUC and universities and then do post-UME for students? It's a very rigorous process of getting into the university system. And now that this is happening, too many universities are coming up. Hundreds of universities we have now. Public, state-owned, private, religious, they are all coming up. And many more are going to come up. Is JAMB going to be able to be handling all this? That is a question we need to ask. Don't we need to unbundle ourselves of these hegemons, of these behemoths, to ensure that universities and maybe the NUC, National Universities Commission, which is the regulatory body, combines with the universities and gets students into the university system? Another thing we can do, why not do away with the Ministry of Education and have Ministry for Higher Education that will deal with issues of higher institutions in Nigeria? And together you can.
Or maybe just have a department for education. Why do we need a ministry, really?
Exactly. These are the issues we are talking about. So together with the regulatory bodies, you can do these things seamlessly. Allow students the opportunity to go to where they want to go. Look at specific university requirements. If they have any tests, they do those tests and get into the university system. Every year calling students together to be moving to different centers all over the country to take a CBT exam.
I love it.
So,
in 1 minute, Professor, because the phone lines are ringing. Everybody wants to talk. Everybody has questions and comments. Has this really exposed the dearth in our education system? This whole JAMB saga.
Look, our educational system has a lot of problems and challenges. Challenges of infrastructure, challenge of personnel to handle them at the primary. I mean, let me not talk of primary. We are dealing with higher institutions. Personnel, that is those who will teach facilities, we have all those problems. We have even the problem of technology. Yeah. Because I wanted to be on this program and ensure that we have little or no hitches. I had to go and buy a MiFi yesterday evening to ensure that, because what we have on the campus here could fail.
Wow.
So I had to do that, and that is what has kept me online here today. So we have all these challenges, and let's face them. We think it is just easy having universities, but the infrastructure is not there. We have a lot of challenges. Yeah, and we need to deal with these challenges, because apart from the problem of students getting into the system, when they get in there, there are additional challenges that are there. Accommodation, lecture halls, facilities like the internet. Many universities don't have it. And even in the rural areas, students have to move from distant places to go and take their CBT exams. Some sleep there and come back. All these are problems that we need to be dealing with. So we put all these things together, do an analysis. Is it worth it? Should we continue with this, or allow the student have choice and options?
All right. Well, Professor Gabriel Moti has been speaking with us on the JAMB Saga. You want to join the conversation? 60 seconds is all we have. So when you call, go straight to the point. If you have a question, ask. If you want to make a comment, go straight to it. 080-0201-277-0993. That's for the males. 0201-277-0993. For the ladies, 0201-465-7190. That's 0201-465-7190. On WhatsApp, it's 0809-5975-805. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. Post your comment on our live stream. We'd like to hear from you. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hi, Maryann. Good evening to you and the Prof.
Good evening.
Since my daughter took this JAMB exam and a couple of other students that will start the exams as well, they've all been on edge. Until date, I don't think JAMB has released the new results so far. So my question to the Prof is this. Is it that the JAMB system or the entire CAD and LAG servers they've been using over time, has it now gone moribund? Because that should have happened, or maybe that was what happened that caused all these glitches. Now, the theatric that the Prof displayed when he was apologizing for the error that has happened, fine, it was commendable. But on the heels of that, he was also credited to have said that those calling for his resignation, as he called them truck pushers, trying to lead a pilot. Please, they should help me tell this Prof that we know he's the pilot, but it is understandable for us to call for his resignation, except to see them pushing good reforms to make sure this system is better.
All right.
Now, is it difficult to...
Your time is up, Ms. Zoboli.
Finger anomaly. That's my question again.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's take another call quickly. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah, evening, Maryann.
Good evening.
It's Manuel. I'm speaking to you from Ekwe.
Go ahead.
After the mock exam, the WAEC, the NECO, the GCE, and then you bring in JAMB, is there any other need for a university to set another exam to admit these students? That is number one question. Number two question. We've seen the Prof, kind of portray an image of integrity over the years. What is the opinion of your guest in terms of what has happened over the years? Because he said that he has been working with a lot of these staffs over the years. That just an issue this year, does not mean that he's going to oversee the exit of those staff, that he has been working with over the years. What is the opinion of your guest? Thank you.
All right, Professor, I'll let you answer both questions. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'll answer the question. Like I said, I have mentioned this in passing.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the issue about reform is not that you have been doing it very well and suddenly something has happened, and because of that, you are not going to go. What I'm saying is that it could be a prompter to you that, look, let somebody else handle this system. I may have known much about it. I'm doing very well, but now something terribly has happened. Maybe I have just overstayed my welcome and I should be able to go. And I'm saying that once you take that personal decision, all the calls coming from outside, indeed, people will even commend you. The professor has done a good job with JAMB all this year. Not everybody will agree, but he has done his best. But that best, more or less, have been rubbished by what has happened. And like the lady who called first, the responses sometimes may also maybe rubbishing because he may be so emotional again in the other direction and use words that are not worth it. And then people will pick on him again. These are the issues. So he needs to take things down. And like I said, why are we in a rush to give another exam immediately? For me, we would have just waited a little bit, find out what exactly went wrong, rectify whatever went wrong if it was technological glitches or human problems like some people are insinuating, or the combination of both. Handle them, resolve them. And what is wrong in somebody doing something wrong and he gets a punishment for it? Because that's the problem in Nigeria. Nobody takes responsibility. Nobody gets any punitive remedy for doing something wrong. You say, okay, I can't do that because I've been working with them. No.
All right, let's take some more calls, Professor. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Maryann.
Turn off your radio, please.
I've done that. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
I think while you were interviewing the prof, you asked a question whether JAMB has outlived its usefulness.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the answer is yes, and I give you two reasons. One is the fact that before the JAMB, there are a series of exams like the WAEC, and if you in recent time, like during our time, we're actually forced to write both WAEC and NECO. So you write these two exams, spending money. You also write maybe GC and other exams. And in the end, you're also asked to write JAMB. And after writing the JAMB, you're also asked by the university, which you're this prospective university, to write another exam. So for me, I don't think JAMB is really necessary. And another reason why I think JAMB has been sustained over the years is because JAMB is more of a money-making venture. You know the kind of billions JAMB breaks in for the government, and so if they have that kind of mindset to use it as a money-making venture, I don't think they are going to be eager to let it go. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling 0201-277-0993. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, good evening. My name is Shola.
Hi, Shola.
Calling from Ogun State.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually, I was a teacher in the last JAMB. I taught the last JAMB classes, so I have a first-hand information. I'm not saying my opinion is going to be general.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to accuse Oyiloide for being bad, but I think he's one of the most integrated JAMB. He has integrity more. Before then, JAMB used to be an exam that leaks. You know the exam is going to exam answer questions before a day before the exams. Most of the fair centers you see around our teacher centers, they will have solved the situation for the student. So when CBT came on board, that team blocked. And before then, JAMB used to they don't remit money to federal government. All the money they make, they share it among the JAMB top officials. I think it's only that is the first that they remit money to federal government. Can check facts for me if I'm telling lies. So government will want to keep him because of his integrity. But that doesn't mean to the Oloide is all 100% correct because there are issues. One of the setting exam for 6:30 a.m. is wrong. Another thing is that you can set the JAMB twice in a year. So if you write the first one, you miss it, you can write the second one. And why SS3 students and SS2 students are writing the same JAMB with 100 level with those who are passed out, making the numbers to be around 2 million in a year, which is a huge traffic. Reduce these numbers, let them write it twice. You solve your problem of writing it in April and August or September.
All right.
So rather than writing it once. So that's all. I'm okay with him, but you need to change his tactics. It's very rigid. That's all.
All right. Thank you very much for calling, and I'm letting you go because of time. Don't forget, you could join the conversation on our live stream on YouTube and Facebook. Post your comments. I'd like to read from you. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello.
Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good evening, Maryann. This is Boyesin calling from Afromedia.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Honestly speaking, I salute your guest. He has spoken my mind. If it were in a Senate, community or Senate class, the professor wouldn't have waited for people to ask him to resign. But because this is Nigeria, where you do whatever you do, whatever you do, you walk away with it. That's just the reason now. That's just the reason. Otherwise, the man... Come again?
Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
So you needed not to wait till somebody asked him to, no matter the shedding of tears. To me, it doesn't matter. But because somebody has tried it before, this man, Mahmoud Yakub, where he manufactured an English, you know now, glitch. And nothing happened to him. I think that's just one of the reasons why this man too gave the same excuse and is not ready to resign.
Okay.
Nothing will happen.
All right.
Thank you very much, Jara.
Thank you, Boyesin, for your thoughts. We appreciate it. All right. I want to read some messages on WhatsApp before we wrap it up here because we have less than a minute. Someone here says, good day, Maryann. I'm Tari from Lekki. Professor Gabriel, thank you for all your talking, but my only addition is the thing that you said, that you had to buy Wi-Fi with your own money, chai. Such a good man, not like greedy politicians in Nigeria. Professor Loyede would said first resign, then let people decide his fate. I'm sure you're saying he should resign first and let people. Okay, all right. This one says, "Good evening. JAMB is still the only uncorrupted examination body in Nigeria." This is from Abdul Rahman in Ikorodu. Another person here says, Ayo here says, "When we said Oloyede was shedding crocodile tears, are we not justified now? Calling people truck pushers. Oloyede needs to leave. I agree with Professor. JAMB should be scrapped." Thank you, Ayo. Professor, I want to thank you so much because our time is fast spent. Thank you so much for coming on the show and being part of the conversation. Thank you for buying your MiFi to join us. We really appreciate it. Professor Gabriel Moti joining us on the show. Thank you so much once again, Prof.
Thank you so very much for the opportunity to share on this.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone.
All right, Lagos, we'll be back after the break.
Right after this.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's